Not live yet. There we go. Now we are. All right. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. It's selection, or not selection Sunday. It's the tournament today. So that's pretty exciting. Once again, I'm alongside Coach in Miami. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Right.
That's good. I'm just probably gonna hear some echo because I'm testing the volume. I'm alongside. Oh, that's Coach in Miami. Super loud. How you doing? Okay, that's probably too loud.
I'm doing good.
I'm gonna move my mic off my face, and then try it again. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I need to have open in other windows. Let's see. I'm trying. There we go. Hopefully my mic will be better now. I'm gonna have to check the audio again in a second to make sure that I'm not really quiet. I'm gonna have to check the audio again in a second to make sure that I'm not really quiet. Okay, good. Let me just turn it down a little bit more, and then someone can just comment if they have to. Oh, I should probably link the live stream. That's probably pretty important. Share. Alright, so we should be starting in about 5 minutes here. Any other comments before we start everything up here? Get the day rolling? Any other thoughts or anything from anybody? Here we go. That's weird. What do you mean by that? Someone restricted. Oh, I better get the latest export in. Are you here, GK?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Because we should be starting up pretty soon.
Wasn't the last export the second half export?
Yes, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was. Because otherwise you could
He's saying the video is restricted, that if you don't have an account or something that you can't use it. That's what he's saying.
just for you or for everyone?
No, for him. He's saying that it must be approved to view it. I think either you put it 18 above, which I don't think that happened, or it's just that he doesn't have an account, but he can't see it without it.
It's weird. It's working for everyone else as far as I know, so I think it's a problem on your end. Anyway, I guess we might as well start talking about the actual tournament, huh?
Yeah.
So the locations were revealed earlier today. I guess I'll just go through them all. Louisville, Minnesota, Villanova, and Cincinnati will be in Brooklyn, New York. Kansas, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Illinois will be in St. Louis. UNC, Connecticut, Texas, BYU will be in Raleigh. UCLA, Gonzaga, and Maryland, Arkansas will be in Seattle, so a little bit of a home court advantage there for Gonzaga. NC State, Ohio State, and Duke, Oklahoma State will be in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Michigan State, Syracuse, and Indiana, West Virginia will be in Des Moines, Iowa. Wichita State, Virginia, and Arizona, Florida will be in Denver. Oklahoma, Georgetown, and Kentucky, Kansas State will be in Providence, Rhode Island. And then the regional finals are in Philadelphia, Chicago, Louisville, and Anaheim. And then the Final Four National Championship is in Houston, Texas. We should be starting pretty quickly here. I would hope anyway. So who did you have winning it all in your predictions?
I thought I had Duke winning it all. The team that they have really just cements their team. It's really good. How about you?
I believe I have Kentucky. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I have Kentucky headed to win it all. I really.
No. Okay, you have Kentucky to win it all?
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with Chad Carter and Kreisman, and then they have solid bench players like Tyler Ulis and Jamal Murray. So I think they definitely have a good shot.
Okay, so I was going crazy for a second. I thought Duke was North Carolina and North Carolina was Duke. That's my bad. I want North Carolina to win.
Nice.
So, because I saw their roster, I was like, wait a minute, this is not the one I want. It's North Carolina. I think North Carolina has a chance to win. Ian and Church are really the big three, the staple of that team, along with Stevenson.
All right, the first games are just about to get underway. Before that happens, any games, any matchups that you'd like to take a look at and a little bit closer?
Or maybe like a potential matchup.
All right, sure.
Would be like Kansas and Louisville. Kansas and Duke. Yeah,
Kansas
Jayhawks
and Duke. That
be
would
a
be
really good
a
match.
Final Four game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good matchup. Duke could probably give Kansas a run for their money.
Absolutely.
And then, like I said, North Carolina is probably gonna be Kansas, so they're gonna have a pretty good tournament. That game will probably be very close, Kansas and North Carolina.
Oh, you'd have to imagine, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
two really great teams going at that there. That's even if they make it that far. I mean, anything can happen in this tournament. You just never know. Any other matchups you'd like to take a look at, or are we ready to get into the results?
Yeah, I'm ready to get into the results.
All right, let's get right into it. Let's give the people what they want. The first game will be Louisville and Minnesota, so I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in on that one. There we go. Let's get it going. Who will come out on top between the Cardinals and the Golden Gophers? Of course, Louisville the 1 seed, Minnesota the 8. Potential for an early upset here. Let's see who comes out on top. Solid players on both squads. I mean, of course, for Louisville, it's Philip Morrison. And for Minnesota, Jesse Gonzalez. We'll see. Louisville should hopefully, well, for their fans, they hope that they can put this one in the bag, get an easy win, and look forward to the Villanova-Cincinnati game, but we'll just have to see. Score should be coming in soon. And, of course, the whole West region will be coming in at once, I think. Let me make sure. Alright, so the tournament is officially underway. No more predictions. And Louisville will defeat the Golden Gophers 74-53. They move on to the second round. First win of the tournament will go to Louisville. They pretty handily defeat Minnesota. So now let's look ahead to Villanova and Cincinnati. Who do you think's going to come out of this one?
It was a be tough game, but I'd have Villanova taking over the win over Cincinnati. Villanova, being in that tough conference of the ACC, it's just going to be easy win against Cincinnati. They have the experience against teams like Duke, UNC, and I think they're going to continue with that.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, Villanova has just played in a really tough conference all year, a whole bunch of tough teams, and they should have all the experience against those tough teams to pull it out. We'll see, though. Oh, and we have the box score of the Louisville-Minnesota game real quick. If just going to go through it. Philip Morrison led Louisville with 25, and Cologne had 18 off the bench. For Minnesota, it was Gonzalez with 16 and Chapin with 12. Now we'll turn our focus on this upcoming matchup, and Villanova will win easily. Just like you said, 78-61. Villanova takes the win over the much less experienced Cincinnati team. They were led by Roach with 11, Oliver with 12, Matlock with 18, Wang with 13, and Carrizanza with 11. Cincinnati only had 2 double-figure scores. That was Guertes and Crisp. So good call on that one. Villanova led that game the whole way, first half to second half. So next up is NC State and Ohio State. Of course, I picked NC State to go to the Final Four, which means they'll probably lose this first game. What are you thinking here?
NC State all the way. This team, like I said, with Villanova, they have the same thing. They've worked hard. They have a 26-4 record in the regular season. They played in the hard conference of ACC. The competition there is elite, and they have the experience to be Ohio State. Ohio State has a good team, but is not going to cut it against a team like that.
Absolutely, and we just saw that win. So NC State pulls off a 65-51 win over Ohio State. Excellent defense by both teams, really. I mean, holding NC State to 65 points is not easy, but when you only score 51, it's going to be tough to win. Watts had 13 for NC State. Thompson also did. And for Ohio State, it was Parson with 15 and Cipriani with 10. So the next game is Duke and Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was one of the last teams into the field. Of course, if they win, it sets up that in-state rivalry with North Carolina State. You give them any shot. And the results of that game actually just came in. So Duke does defeat Oklahoma State 96-71, which will set up the in-state rivalry of Duke and NC State. Let's look ahead to that matchup. Who do you think's going to come out of it?
Oh, I think Duke will come out of it. Like I said, it will be hard to get to the Elite Eight, and now Duke might just cement them staying just in the Sweet 16. Duke will win this in-state rivalry and go on to face, in my opinion, Louisville.
All right, thank you very much. Kansas and Notre Dame is up next. Of course, Notre Dame, one of the last 4 teams into the field. They had a pretty rough regular season. Didn't really do as well as their coach expected. Would a win here today kind of turn the whole season around against the undefeated 34-0 Jayhawks? Well, I guess they won't get it, as Kansas does defeat the Fighting Irish 79-53, which now brings up one of the most interesting matchups in the tournament, Wisconsin and Illinois. What do you think about that one?
It's going to be a very good game between both, maybe probably close. These two teams are both balanced with each other, both on the bench and both starting. and they both had the same competition to battle with each other back and forth during this whole game. My opinion is just gonna go to Wisconsin over the
Absolutely.
edge.
They faced off in the Big North Conference tournament, and Illinois did manage to win. But it's tough to beat a team twice. I mean, no matter what. Illinois felt disrespected by their seed, and we'll have to see if that motivates them at all to get a win here. The result of this one should be coming in shortly. And Illinois does manage to pull off the small upset. It's the first lower seed we've had win today. They take down Wisconsin 84-69. That surprising at all to you, or not really?
That's surprising. This game would have everybody would have thought this probably would have been a very close game, but to have a 15-point win over Wisconsin is really big.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a big statement for them to get that win. I mean, they felt that they were underseeded, and I think they just took that out on Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So next up, it's Michigan State and Syracuse. Big North versus ACC. What kind of shot do you give Syracuse in this one?
I still give them a big shot. They have maybe they have a very good player, maybe one of the top 10, 15, maybe even 20 best players in the nation, and Keith Bird. Bukowski and Johnson are two very good additions to the team as well. Around
Absolutely.
Michigan, yeah, Michigan State also has very good potential players, but I think Syracuse could come out with the win over this.
And so Michigan State is able to hang on. They only win by 10 points, though. Definitely a lot closer than what a lot of people were thinking. Of course, our very own GK12 did say that it was going to be a close game, so good for him. Next up is Indiana and West Virginia. A lot of people thought that Indiana did deserve a 1 seed. I think the key for them in this game is to just embrace the 2 seed. Because if you get caught up worrying about what seed you got, I mean, you still got a basketball game to play no matter what. So I think you just got to focus in and worry about the game. You agree with that?
Yeah, they're really probably as well as mad that they didn't get a 1 seed, and they're probably going to take it out on West Virginia anyway to show that they deserve the 1 seed.
I mean, absolutely. It'll just... Yeah, they did channel that energy. They beat the number 2 West Virginia Mountaineers 52-70. I think we're now halfway through the first round. We have, the North Carolina Regional and the UCLA Regional up next. So let's just go ahead and take a look through the bracket. So far into the Sweet 16, we have number 1 Louisville and number 4 Villanova. Number 3, NC State, and number 2, Duke. Number 1, Kansas, and number 5, Illinois. Number 3, Michigan State, and number 2, Indiana. Pretty solid field of teams there. Wouldn't you agree?
Very good, solid team, very good team. Hopefully, he continues with the bottom half of the bracket.
Yeah. And North Carolina is able to defeat Connecticut 94-54. Biggest blowout of the tournament so far. I mean, pretty much as we thought, right?
3-point is just a demolishing effort what North Carolina did to UConn. They had no chance at all.
I mean, absolutely. North Carolina just pulled away from the start, and they never looked back, really.
Yeah.
Halftime score of that game was 55-23. That's pretty depressing for Connecticut fans.
Yeah, it's just...
So next up, it'll be Texas and BYU, 2 very evenly matched 4-5 seeds. I don't really think either of them have a chance against the Tar Heels, though. Would you agree with that?
No, Tar Heels are really just gonna run down this whole bracket. Maybe they'll get it kind of close. I don't know. Maybe 20-point, 15-point close, but they will not beat North Carolina.
Absolutely, and it will be BYU that plays the Tar Heels as they just beat Texas 70-72. Closest game of the tournament so far, probably the best game, if you ask me, which will bring up my Wichita State Shockers against Virginia. You think Virginia has a chance in this one or no?
As much as I like them, they do have a chance, but they won't win. Wichita has the good team, has the advantage, has the all around team. Virginia is, in my opinion, somewhat top heavy. They don't really have players, but I don't think they have enough on in the bench to complement the starters.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I just think that the depth of the Shockers will help them pull out a win here. If it's close down the stretch, then that depth will definitely help them win. And Virginia beats Wichita State.
Oh, God.
72 to 67.
Second upset today.
I have no comment on this. We're gonna move on to Arizona, Florida. Well, there goes my season and my recruiting. That's okay. Arizona and Florida now. The winner takes on Virginia, the first big upset of the tournament, 6-3. So, who you got, Arizona or Florida? Both are some pretty good teams.
They're both pretty good teams, but Arizona, I'm going all the way. Florida Gators are top heavy. Nothing else. Arizona has the all around team, and they will be able to compete.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, at this point, it's just waiting to find out.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be another game like UConn and North Carolina.
And that's how it turns out. Arizona will get a 71-54 win. Pretty big win. I mean, not exactly the biggest, but still a very dominating performance. Next up is UCLA and Gonzaga in Seattle, Washington, which is a very criticized move, of course, giving Gonzaga a home game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Gonzaga has the home court advantage, but I don't think they'll win. UCLA has too good of a team, a Gonzaga team. They do have Sabonis, they do have Johnson, they do have Carson, but they do not have the star power that UCLA possesses. They had like 4 or 5 players that were like all Americans, I think. UCLA has this team to beat them.
Yep, and that's how it'll work out. So UCLA wins 88 to 69. The home court advantage doesn't turn out to be too much of an issue, and the Bruins are on into the second round. So next up is Maryland and Arkansas. Both of these teams had a solid regular season, I guess you could say.
So I'm gonna continue. Both have very good seasons. Out of I think Maryland might come out with the victory. Kraft and Jackson both are very good, but Arkansas I don't think could beat them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their bench is they do have a good bench with Waits and Kelly, but besides that, not really much else.
And Arkansas's magical run will end here. Of course, they won the SEC, but they cannot win a tournament game as Maryland defeats them 86 to 61. That final score is a little surprising to me. Did you expect that much of a blowout?
I did. I knew Maryland was gonna win them 10-15, but I didn't know they would beat them that much.
That's pretty surprising to me.
25-point game. That's okay.
All right, so next up it is Oklahoma and Georgetown in the second to last game of the round of 32. I really don't give Georgetown much of a chance. They play in a weak conference, and Oklahoma has just been pretty dominant all year. I don't think that Georgetown will even be able to compete with them.
Yeah, even Georgetown didn't even get far in the didn't do that good in the regular season, and then to have them face the Oklahoma Sooner team with Carson Christie and Steinberg, Padilla, they really don't have a chance.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is an absolute blowout. Oklahoma will win at 100-63. That one is not even close. Wow. Um, and then the final game of the round of 32 will be Kentucky and Kansas State. I think that Kentucky should be able to go out there and get a win. I mean, they've been a dominant team all year. Kansas State just doesn't really impress me.
Yeah, I expect the game just like what happened with Oklahoma and Georgetown. Kentucky is just going to demolish Kansas State. They don't have the good players, and the Kentucky is just dominating.
Yep, and that is what will happen. So Kentucky wins 67-51. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to go over the bracket as it stands and just overall take a look at the upsets and how everything's going. All right, and we are back for the second half, or well, second quarter, second 1/4, second Sweet 16. There we go. We are back for the Sweet 16. We'll cut it down to 8 right now. Let's just see what's gonna happen. So you want to just go through and recap some of the best games and how's it really going?
Yeah, I think maybe like check the momentum of some of these teams. And if we're going to talk about momentum, talk about Oklahoma and Georgetown. The 100-point to 63 game was just amazing. Oklahoma, riding off of Christie and Muller, benches Allen with 12 points of his own, was basically all-around effort. Amazing. It was just a dominating game. Just all around.
And of course, you can't talk about Oklahoma without talking about Kentucky, which is the team that they will be playing. I mean, this is two just absolutely high-powered offenses going at it. Kentucky went 31-3 in the regular season. Oklahoma went 31-3 counting the conference tournament. Oklahoma went 29-4. So these two teams are evenly matched, and we should see a great game here tonight. So, any other games that really stand out for you?
North Carolina versus BYU. This is going to be one of those blowout games. BYU, they do have a good team, but the talent that UNC possesses will just overcome every single player that they have. They don't stand a chance at all.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like that BYU is definitely a good team, but I don't know how good they are. I mean, either way, it's been a great season for them. A loss to North Carolina is certainly not embarrassing. So I think we're ready to get right back into it. Yep, we should be starting off again soon. So we'll open with Louisville and Villanova in Brooklyn, New York. What do you think about this game? Who you got coming out of it?
Louisville versus Villanova. I think Louisville will come over again. Morrison, Ames Brown. This team is a very good team. So they beat Minnesota 74-53, 21 point game. They have the power. to be Villanova. Villanova has a good bench, has a good starting rotation, but I don't think that they'll be able to overcome.
Well, that's a good call there because Louisville will get a 73-69 win, barely pulling it out to advance to the Elite Eight. You want to go over some of the leading scorers of that game?
Yeah. Um. It can't because I think, yeah, he put the Kentucky Kansas
Oh, wait, what?
versus Kansas comes up when you go to
Wait a
the
minute.
link.
What?
Yeah.
Well, good job. Well, I guess we aren't getting a box score for that one. Technical difficulties, guys. Sorry about that.
Well,
That's
okay.
fine. All
No
right.
problem.
So next up is NC State and Duke in the in-state rivalry. You think Duke's gonna pull this one out, right?
Yep, Duke all the way. The talent that they possess does not match their in-state rivals, NC State. NC State does have a good team, has everything that they need, but the team that they have does not overcome the talent that Duke possesses. If they do win, it's probably going to be upset somehow.
You know, I really think that NC State has a good chance, but I don't know. Let's see. The result should be coming in soon, and hopefully the box score works properly on this one. That would be nice, I'm sure, for you. Well, it's taking a little while here, but I'm sure it'll work out.
Mhm.
This game, by the way, is in Brooklyn, New York. So not really a home advantage for either team.
Yeah. They're playing Oklahoma City. So both of them are out Midwest.
Oh my. Well, Duke massacres North Carolina State 76-47. That is a great defensive effort by Duke. Only 47 points.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
The box score, which is here, the actual one.
Nice.
The box score, top three leading scorers were Russell Wilson, Russell Wilson with 21 points, Nick Mack with 18 points, and Daniel Cannon with 10 points. Only scored 2 points but had 10 assists, so that's pretty impressive. You had a couple of eight rebound games, the leading rebounders with John Steele and Pruitt. Off the North Carolina State squad, top three leading scorers were Uchida with 14, Cross with 12, and Thompson with 8. Thompson had 8 points, 10 rebounds, being the top leading rebounder, and top assist leader was Sam Watts with only 4 assists.
So, of course, now we get Kansas and Illinois. Illinois is definitely a hot team. They made it to the Big North, championship game. But, of course, Kansas is 35-0. You think Illinois has any shot to end the perfect season?
No. They have a solid squad, but Kansas is riding high off the undefeated season, and they're still wanting to compete. They still want to hold on, and they're gonna use that momentum and that confidence that they have in order to win.
Absolutely. So we'll just have to see who will win that one, of course. While we're waiting on that score, who do you like out of the Louisville-Duke matchup?
Louisville Duke. I think Duke now looking and oh wow,
Oh,
Illinois beats Kansas, ending
Illinois ends the
the
perfect season.
82-75. Wow.
That is a stunner from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm sure all the Kansas fans there are in absolute shock. They will finish at 35-1, or excuse me, 34-1. Wow, that is a crazy upset right there.
Hawks' leading scorers were Bickle with 16, Kurt Richer off the bench with 12, and then 11 from both Oliveira and Scafabella. Pedro DeVito only had 9 points. He did have 8 assists, but didn't really perform like he does usually. And Bickle also had 8 rebounds. So while Illinois rides off the big three of Barnett, Chu, and Medina, Barnett had 15, Medina had 14, and Chu has 13. Guerrero had 7. No, Newsom had 8 rebounds, and then for assists it was Thomas Taylor off the bench with 5. And they
That
were
is ridiculous.
up all the way. Illinois was up 45-35 on Kansas, a 10-point lead on them in the first half of the game.
That is definitely the biggest upset of the tournament so far, as Kansas will not be winning the tournament this year. Wow.
And not only the first lower seed to win, and they beat Wisconsin by a lot, then they beat the undefeated Kansas, and now they'll have to face up against Michigan State or Indiana.
So maybe they are proving that they deserved a little bit of a higher seed, like their coach thought. That is a huge win for them. Now, of course, we have Michigan State and Indiana. It should be a close game, but I expect Indiana to pull it out. They've won 30 games once again. They're looking like a solid team, and they will pull it out, 80-66.
Yeah, they should be able to pull it out, but again, just like you saw with Illinois and Kansas, you can never expect what's going to happen. Michigan State does have the roster, can match up with Indiana. We just have to see what happens.
So now the Elite 8 matchup will be Illinois and Indiana. Big North matchup right there. I believe that was the title game matchup. You think Illinois can turn it around and beat Indiana this time?
No, I don't think so. If they can, it'll be just so surprising. But I don't think that Illinois is ready enough to have this Cinderella run.
Yeah, I think so. So next up we have North Carolina and number 5 BYU. Can another 5 seed pull a stunner, you think, in this one?
Against North Carolina, I don't have any confidence in BYU. If they do pull a stunner, then I don't know what went on with UNC in that game. UNC has the roster. Their talent, I think, is like NBA elite talent right there. They have players. They just have to win.
Yeah, and they will get that 88-45 win. So that is another ticket punch to the Elite 8. That is, we're more than halfway there. 5 teams down, 3 more to go. The next matchup is number 6 Virginia against number 2 Arizona. Of course, Virginia coming off that big upset of the Chartreuse State. Arizona, big win against Florida. This should be a good one. What do you think?
Virginia has a very good squad. They just beat Wichita, and they have to be running high on that. They could come out with the win. I think Arizona is still going to win. But this should be a close matchup, especially how Virginia is coming off of that momentum that they got by being the 3rd seed Wichita State. Just like how Illinois beat 4th seed Wisconsin, and then now they just be the 1st seed Kansas.
I mean, absolutely. The momentum plays a huge factor in pretty much every game. I mean, that's just the nature of the sport. So, let's talk some NBA basketball. Oh, never mind. I was going to say in the break, but there will be no break as Arizona survives Virginia 59-55. Virginia just couldn't get enough offense down the stretch. What was their box score looking like?
Let's see. They were 3-15, but Arizona came back with a 44-point second half to win the game. That's crazy.
That's going to be a disappointing tournament loss for them.
Yeah. 13 for Arizona. It was an all-around game. You had Wallace, Bunch scoring 13 and 10 respectively, and then Dennis and Connolly both scoring 9 points. Bunch had 9 rebounds as well, working the boards, and Doris just passing the ball around. Cushing had a triple double with a 13 points and 10 rebounds. Brogdon had 10 points, and Pearson had 9 points. And then assist, the leader was Richard Barnett. But to be up 33-15 in the first half and then lose a lead after letting them score 22 more points than you did, it has to hurt.
Absolutely. And then in the next game down, UCLA is going to defeat Maryland 81-57. They are onto the Elite Eight, which leaves only one game, and it's the one that we opened the Sweet 16 with, and that is Oklahoma and Kentucky. Two high-powered offenses coming off big wins, looking to keep it going. I mean, this should be a good one all the way to the buzzer.
Yeah. I think Oklahoma will beat Kentucky because of that big momentum they just got off of Georgetown. Kentucky has a good team, but I think Oklahoma has enough offense to win.
I mean, absolutely. That Sooner offense really has been good form the whole year. So we'll have to see how that one progresses. I mean, it's definitely going to be a close one, or at least we think so. May end up being a blowout. You just never know with these. Then after that, we're just going to move on to the Elite Eight after a quick break, where we will hopefully be joined by Indiana coach A Crossover 23 if he can get his microphone working. And Kentucky does pull it out 90-75. They stop Oklahoma's momentum. That one really is surprising to me. I mean, I thought it'd be at least a little closer.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back right after this for the Elite Eight, where we will feature all 1 and 2 seeds except for number 5, Illinois. We'll be back right after this. Alright everyone, and we are back for the Elite Eight. So only 8 teams remain. Oh, there we go. 8 really good teams, and they're all looking to head to the Final Four. So of course, starting at the top of the bracket, we have Louisville and Duke. Of course, I think we both think that Duke is coming out of this, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they really have a solid squad this year. And then next up, it is Illinois and Indiana. Of course, Illinois with the big upset, taking down the undefeated Jayhawks to end their bid at a perfect season. They're riding a lot of momentum, but they just don't have the talent and size to compete with Indiana, I don't think.
Yeah. You're facing Illinois as the 5th seed is facing the National Player of the Year in Damon Bell and his supporting cast. I don't think that will be able to win.
Then, of course, the other games are North Carolina, Arizona, and UCLA, Kentucky. And we just had a game go final, and Louisville is able to defeat Duke 80-51. That is a big win for them. They are the first team to punch their ticket to their Final Four. 80-51. That's a commanding win, and they will take on the winner of Illinois and Indiana, which is the game that we just talked about. Moving down a little bit, North Carolina, Arizona, who you got out of that one?
North Carolina all the way. I don't care what anybody says. North Carolina is amazing. And looking at the box score from Louisville and Duke, Philip Morrison providing 27 points, really leading Louisville to helping them catch the ticket to the Final Four.
course, we're waiting on the score of the Illinois-Indiana game to determine they will be playing in Houston, Texas. That will be a good one, and it will be the Indiana Sooners as they end Illinois' little Cinderella run with a 96-61 victory. Really no shot for Illinois in this game.
Yeah, no. Especially like how I said, Damon Bell, the National Player of the Year, 31 points. Helped by James Fletcher's 16 and Robert Dos Santos is 10 points. Those three really propelled Indiana to the win.
Of course, they will take on Louisville in another 1 versus 2 matchup. And then, speaking of 1 versus 2, it's North Carolina and Arizona coming up next. Who are your players to watch for this game?
Luigi Leone is gonna be the player to watch. He's a explosive player, tall. He can shoot threes. He can go in a rebound. He can do everything that you ask him to do.
Absolutely, and we'll be waiting on the results of that one. So half the bracket is complete for the Final Four. The other half will be decided next, and it is the North Carolina Tar Heels. They win 86-68 over Arizona. Big win for them for sure. And then the final game of the Elite Eight is UCLA and Kentucky. Who do you think's coming out of this one?
These two are very good teams, but I think UCLA has the all-around team to beat them. DeVito has to show up in this game, though. Not DeVito. What am I talking about? They just have to show up in this game. UCLA has the talent. Jones has to show up. Jones last game was 3 for 13. He really needs to perform like how he does in order to help UCLA beat a harder team like Kentucky.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. It's all about those kind of guys today for the Bruins. So we'll have to see. The final ticket will be punched, and it will be the UCLA Bruins. UCLA. They win 81-68. You want to take us over the box score?
Yeah. Top 3 scorers were David Jones with 19, Nunez and Lambert off the bench with 11 points each, and Pierre Johnson with 10. Like I said, David Jones had to come up, and he did. Also had 6 assists, was the leader in assists, and rebounds had Pierre Johnson. Wildcats, Kreisman had 24 points, but even that could not take UCLA over. Rutherford also had 10, and Carter had 9 points with 9 rebounds. But he had 6 turnovers, which really hurt them. And assist-wise, Rutherford and Ford tied for the most, but it was only 3 assists.
All right, so coming up right after this, we will have the Final Four featuring the Louisville Cardinals, the Indiana Hoosiers, the North Carolina Tar Heels, and the UCLA Bruins. We'll see you right after this with the Final Four. course, as we mentioned before, we have Louisville, Indiana, North Carolina, and UCLA, who will be battling for the title here in Houston, Texas. So the first game of the day will be Louisville and Indiana. What are your thoughts on this one?
I have Indiana winning against Louisville. Louisville has a very good team, but I think Damon Bell will be able to push over um, the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna probably this one should come down to the wire, but I think Indiana is just the better team. They should be able to pull this one out and be the first team ever in the national championship of the NCBCA tournament. Then, of course, the second game of the day is North Carolina and UCLA. What do you think about that one?
I've said North Carolina goes all the way. I'm still sticking to that. North Carolina has a star-studded team, and they will still be able to beat UCLA.
Absolutely. So, I think we're just going to have to wait and see. It should be an exciting Final Four, an exciting weekend, and, of course, an exciting national championship. We'll see who takes the win. And should be coming up pretty shortly. Definitely a good group of teams here in the Final Four. You could definitely argue that these were the best four teams all season long. The only team I don't see here is Kansas, which, I mean, they were upset, simple as that. I mean, you don't always make it all the way, and that's just how things go.
Yeah, but it was really disappointing to see them as the only undefeated team lose, and to lose to a team like Illinois who was solid, but they still, as an undefeated team, you would think they need to win.
And Indiana will ride their momentum and continue winning. They defeat Louisville 75-55. They are the first team in the national championship. And next up is North Carolina and UCLA. The winner will play Indiana for the title. This is definitely a solid group of blue blood teams. I mean, this Final Four really has been a bunch of really prestigious organizations that have a lot of basketball history.
Yeah, definitely. North Carolina, UCLA, both rich histories. UCLA with the 13 championship or so in the 50s and the 60s. Carolina with the 80s and 90s. These two teams really have rich history. Which one will be able to continue the history, and which one will have to do it in the foreseeable future? And I think UCLA won't be able to punch their ticket. I think North Carolina will punch their ticket and win the first ever NCBCA championship.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you here. I got North Carolina pulling out a tough win. And, of course, there's big recruiting implications with, of course, five-star recruit Lonzo Ball is considering both of these programs, along with Indiana and several other teams in this tournament. And North Carolina defeats UCLA 77-65. They are on to the first national title game in NCBCA history. And like I said, it's not just bragging rights on the line here. It is also, of course, the recruiting battles. I mean, both these teams going for several five-star recruits. You think that's on the coaches' minds right now?
I think what's going to be on their mind, I can't really vision what's going to be on their mind, really. Both. The only thing that's going to be on their mind is just to win. They both are going to try to kill each other, including the players, coaches. Everybody's going to have to want to kill each other for this.
Oh, yeah,
That's
of
the thing.
course. This is the biggest game of their lives, I'm sure. Both teams looking for their first NCBCA title in the first year that it is is being played. I mean, this title is going to go down in history. It's the first. I mean, that really is something special.
Somebody that's really gonna want that championship is Damon Bell. What a way to top off your senior year, to not only win the National Player of the Year, but to win the NCBCA National Championship. That's a way to top off your career.
Wait, hold on a minute. I'm just gonna make sure the audio is working before the final, the final announcement, I guess. That's the word I'm talking about. For the final. Alright, we are ready to go. Of course, a lot to be proud of for these two teams. I mean, the first ever title is going to go to either Indiana or North Carolina, and I mean, you got to look at several players for both teams. Of course, Damon Bell, the Player of the Year, has a chance to prove a lot of stuff that he deserved this title, and we'll just have to see how it goes, honestly. I mean, it's really hard to predict when you get this far, but I think North Carolina and Indiana both have a solid shot at this thing. Of course, it's the national title game. Anything can happen, so we're just going to have to wait and see who's going to cut down the nets. And, I mean, this championship, like we said, will go down in history as the first. So, very important. What are your thoughts? This historic game. And, well, we have it. Indiana will cut down the nets over North Carolina 70-57. The first ever NCBCA champions, and they will enjoy this moment. We're just going to let them enjoy the celebration. Maybe we'll try and get an interview with the coach of Indiana here in a little bit, but right now, and he says, "We are championship." That's amazing. So, thank you very much for joining us for the entire tournament, the entire conference tournament, and the selection show. It really has been fun. Thank you to, of course, Hazel for putting on the league, all 80 teams in the league, and my broadcast partner here, GK12303. It's been a great season, and we hope to see you again next year. Thank you very much, and we are out of here.
Yeah.
Every single second. The ball is tipped, and there you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star. And all the years, no one knows just how hard you worked. But now it shows.
Fisher Davis length to the court, no good, and Northwestern has won.
Wisconsin, they have knocked out the defending national champions.
The 2-seed Duke Blue Devils are out.
The time is short, and the road is long. In the blinking of an eye,
This is an opportunity for growth, and you have to use it as such.
The coach's son and dad with a smile.
Brilliance on full display. From outside.
that in one shining moment, you reached deep inside. One shining moment.
Fox enjoying his chance to show what he can do against Lonzo Ball.
Feel the beat of your heart. Feel the wind in your
Devoured by Bell.
It's more than a contest. It's more.
Showalter. How cool is that? Chioza. Oh, my goodness.
That young lady's going to be on the internet all night. She's smiling.
Monk to tie it. Oh, an impossible shot. Made for the win. North Carolina. Major against.
You always did your best. 'Cause inside you knew.
Williams Goss and one.
Shining moment.
Gonzaga is going to be playing for the national championship. Now he's going to go baseline. Floater. That was amazing.
Up again as meet. Carolina saves it on the glass.
Gonzaga, North Carolina for the national championship.
One shining moment.
The confetti is going to fall for North Carolina.